Hi everyone, I'm recording this to keep a record. I am 2 days away. It's very late at night. It's like 3 in the morning on Sunday. Actually, no, closer to 4. I am recording this to keep a record for those in the future, either immediate future or in the very far future, should the human species survive for very long. I don't hold out very much hope, I'm afraid. I am sipping tea. I am currently in the process of planning an escape from an emotionally and financially abusive house that is getting dangerous. Now, my mother has always been emotionally abusive, but as she has aged and gotten into conspiracies and the like, it's gotten worse, and both the family members that live here have, as the state of politics have worsened, they themselves have become worse people with worse opinions. My mother has never met a conspiracy theory she didn't like, and growing up, she would never say anything like, I hate the insert a racial demographic here, but last election, she said that on 2 separate occasions about different demographics. The transphobia in my house, I was always invalidated, infantilized, etc. The attitude was always that transgender people are just crazy people, silly people, perhaps adults with too much time on their hands or more money than sense. I don't know, mentally ill, whatever. But now it's become a matter of hatred and believing that transgender people are groomers and that drag queens are groomers, and that allowing this to exist is somehow putting society in danger. And basically the attitudes toward various demographics, whether it be poor people or African Americans or any immigrants, any brown-skinned immigrants, documented or undocumented. I don't know if my mother understands that the conspiracy theories she believes are actually anti-Semitism repackaged, i.e., using George Soros, who was a Jewish Hungarian immigrant, as the main villain of any conspiracy theory, and conspiracy theories like Pizzagate and the Satanic Panic being essentially blood libel but repackaged. But they're not only becoming more cruel to me as an emotionally abusive, but my brother has physically attacked me, and and they've become more dangerous to each other as the yelling has increased. And seeing as that my brother has now expressed some sexist beliefs, and he escalates more than my mother. This is not a dangerous place. It's fair to say, in my opinion, that they have become fascists. They are insurrection deniers. climate change deniers. They are big into denying systemic racism. They use words like woke and wokeism as just bad things. They are the type of people who will say things like, I don't use pronouns. I mean, but it's silly, but their philosophies have become very dangerous. So I was already in a bad spot. And then after my brother attacked me, I mean, I was feeling suicidal anyway, as it is 2023 CE. But then when my brother attacked me over an argument over a sandwich, an open-faced sandwich, yeah, it was time to call the cops. And I was very honest with the cops, and I told them that I was thinking about suicide because as a transgender person, it's getting worse and worse here. And also, it's getting worse and worse in the South. I live just north of Atlanta, Georgia. And while it's not Florida, it's not Oklahoma, we have a pretty big contingent of people here who, well, Atlanta is gay friendly, and well, queer friendly in general. We have a pretty big contingent of people here who are motivated by fundamentalist religions. Well, fundamentalist Christianity. It could be evangelical, it could be Baptist, it could be Methodist, etc., but fundamentalist Christianity. And a lot of the eschatology and shit that comes with it. And stuff that comes with that too. Climate change, denial, and an obsession with guns. In my family, I am now in debt on account of having voluntarily gone to a mental health facility for suicidal ideation. My family knows that, but they still keep the guns here. And when I'm upstairs in bed, hiding, because I don't want to be down here when they're down here, they say all sorts of transphobic things, and basically they act like the Democrats are a big conspiracy to make the kids transgender to weaken the United States so that they can take over and make some sort of totalitarian one-world government. And my brother in particular will bang on about, if the government takes my guns, I'm gonna shoot cops. The government takes my guns. But it comes to take my guns. Da, 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 da. Like he's leaning into this fantasy. And he'll yell things like, if you want a drag queen reading stories to kids, you are a pedophile. Don't know what the through point is there. But yeah, the political beliefs of my parents, and I could go, parents, foo, family of origin, foo, and I could go on about it, and I could talk about how my mother makes it very difficult for me to leave the house. I could talk about all the conspiracy theories she believes in, like secret space program and reptilians, and definitely an anti-vaxxer, and the government wants us to all get vaccinated, so we're all autistic, I guess, which in her mind is stupid. and therefore easier to control. Like, it's a mess. And COVID denial, I mean, they think it exists, but they think there was a big, massive plan. And it's one thing to think that it originated in a lab in Wuhan, but even that could lead into anti-East Asian sentiment. But I can understand believing it came out of a lab in Wuhan, but then the rest of the stories that come out of that, like someone arguing, okay, I think it came out of a lab in Wuhan. Then they go way, way off in left field and say, therefore, it's a massive plot by the Chinese and the Democrats to get us all vaccinated so we'll all be sick so they can take over, or because some people think the vaccines change DNA, some people think there's microchips in the vaccines. I don't know if my family is that far down the rabbit hole, but suffice it to say, when my brother had, I should tell the COVID story, but when my brother had COVID, and we were sure it was COVID, he was sick as a dog. He made a point of going out to a drive-thru more than once. Way to human, asshole. Way to human. Ugh. Anyway. So I'm documenting my escape as a trans refugee. It's July. When you're watching, I don't know who's gonna watch and when. But there's shit from, shit. I'm carrying a shrine with me that would be recognized by someone 3,000 years in the past. Maybe I'm a silly person for it. That's fine. I'm a silly person. How you doing? So I say a lot. There you go. So it's currently July 23rd, very early Sunday morning. I'll be escaping July 26th. I know in Georgia there is now a law against gender-affirming care for children, though I don't know the extent of the law. But people are not yet being put on lists here. But there are a couple of states now who have banned gender-affirming care for adults and or have made it nearly impossible. And there are states targeting doctors who offer gender-affirming care. Also, the same is true for abortions. And right now, there are, as I understand it, Republicans have amended a federal bill such that if, I believe it's modifications to Medicare and Medicaid, but one stipulation is that gender-affirming care cannot be paid for by Medicare and Medicaid. I don't know if it's going to pass. I don't know when it's going to be voted on. But, yeah. But transgender people are being targeted to a greater or lesser degree. And there's a lot of lies going around. And there are people who are, frankly, terrorists. There is a gentleman he's not a gentleman in the least. There is a fuckwit by the name of Matt Walsh. He encouraged people to call a clinic in Colorado that provided gender-affirming care and ask them questions, not honest questions, but, the sort of, what is a woman? Or why are you mutilating children? Kind of questions. And because they've gotten so many threats, like bomb threats, terrorist threats, they've stopped gender affirming care. And many other clinics have also gotten these same sort of threats. So you may be living in a place that has some very soft laws being proposed and enacted. Like maybe a soft law is you can't take hormones until you're 16. Well, whatever. Or you might have a law saying, there are a lot of laws now saying that if a guidance counselor or a teacher, etc., in a school, if a child tells them that they are part of the queer community, that they must report it to their parents, which is very much intentionally an attempt at exposing children, queer children, or questioning children to abuse. Stuff like that. And it may seem soft, it might even seem like a good idea to you, but if a child is coming to you with that, and you're not the parent, maybe there's a reason they're not going to the parent. So yeah. So Tuesday, 3 o'clock, I will be outside with a bag and a person with a group called Rainbow Passage will be here with police, and we're going to pack up what things that I can pack up very quickly. I've already started packing such that I can, and we are going to head off to the airport, and then I'm flying to a host family in San Francisco, and I'll have my room and board taken care of for 6 months. And I am going to continue to try to get out on this disability, which in this day and age is quite difficult. With many Republicans and state legislatures trying to make things like food stamps and Medicaid and those sorts of things more difficult to get on, I dread that getting on disability may be more difficult in the future. I want to do a video about how social services aren't there, at least in the state of Georgia, but that gets into another video. And I want to do a video about an experience in a mental health facility it wasn't just not queer affirming, it was intentionally made unsafe for me. And I honestly think the reason nothing bad happened to me, like nobody kicked my ass, is because the people in my unit, they were my brothers, and I treated them like my brothers. And that's how they treated me. I mean, a lot of the staff I don't think treated us like human beings, but we treated each other more like human beings than they treated us like human beings. Especially in my case, but they were my brothers, so, I mean, That's really all I can say. If you don't understand that, I don't know what to tell you. So, I rather like myself growing a beard. It feels very natural for me. I want to see what I look like with a nice full beard. Sorry, I had an itch. But I will keep a record of this, and I will post it on YouTube, and I will talk about my experiences on my channel and make a playlist and basically tell people about my journey as a transgender refugee in the year of their Lord, 2023. So usually I begin my videos with hello surviving humans. I might change it to something like ahoy surviving humans. Basically, I love Near East flood myths. And I always end my videos with, there are 4 lights. However, now I think I want to end the video with the phrase, follow the raven's rook.